So happy Wednesday, everyone. How are you doing on this amazing wind down Wednesday? I am so happy that you're here this evening, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us on the replay. I just want to thank you for watching and joining the conversation here at Get to Know Bob. I'm your host, Sonia M. Weaver. I got to get used to saying Dr. Sonia M. Weaver. Okay, I keep introducing myself without the doctor, and I keep getting my hands slapped by some people, but it'll grow on me. I'll get there. I guarantee. I want to take time before, I get into the conversation and recognize that today is 9/11. And I know some may not connect the dots because some days we get up and it gets busy and we don't even write down the date and you may not even realize it. When I was actually sending out the calendar for the availabilities, I didn't realize that the show would fall on 9/11 myself. So it wasn't until earlier today that I actually looked at the date. And of course, in that moment, I had to reflect and remember the significance of 9/11, just to pay honor to those families where those individuals were lost in that horrific event that occurred in our country. And I know for those families, it probably doesn't get any easier with each year. So as we take the time here on Get to Know Bob, just to pay our respects and remembering the significant date in our history so that we never go back down that path again. Now, getting excited for tonight's conversation. You know, I say every week how excited I am about conversations, and I'm not just saying it seriously. I look forward to these conversations. You would not believe. I have no idea what they're going to be like, but I know that this conversation is going to be awesome. I am praying that it touches whomever it needs to touch so that it inspires you, that it empowers you, because I'm telling you, the guest is just all that inspiring, empowering, and just, hey, together, right? The complete package. And when we say that saying, don't judge me on the outside because you don't know my story, I'm telling you, this is how that phrase is so accurate, because people could assume so much without knowing. And I am just so honored that our guest has decided to come on and allow for us to have a conversation so that we could get to know who she is, what she does, and why she does what she does. Before we get into, though, tonight's conversation, let me tell you about this past weekend, if I can remember, because one thing that I did do is I did take a bit of rest that was needed. So I didn't attend a lot of events as I did the previous week. The previous week, I believe from Friday to Sunday, I was at events, and some days back to back events. So I really needed some rest. But one special event that happened was a linked event. And as you can see, yes, I have on my link shirt. We had a very impactful and empowering event. We do women's ministry events, and this happened to have been a women's ministry event. And I just thank so many people for their support with Linked, because the conversation and the connections that were made this weekend really reminded me um, just how important it is to be intentional and take time to be there with one another. At the event, there was several people who couldn't show up because a death had occurred. And we talked about just how you never know. One day your loved ones are here and the next day they may be gone. We don't like to have those conversations, but that's the truth. We know, sure as we were born, there will come a day that we will die. But being intentional and spending time while you have the time together is so important. And that's why I know Linked is a ministry. And I just pray that you will too get linked and create your own lasting memories, one bead at a time. Now, if you missed the last time we were here, we had a phenomenal conversation with Mastering the Art of Persuasion. That happened a few weeks ago. So if you missed it, make sure that you take an opportunity to rewatch that episode. We also had a conversation with none other than the phenomenal Ishmael Terry. It was an amazing conversation, and he shared so much information with us. And on tonight's show, we're going to have another amazing conversation. Let me pull up Ishmael's real quick. With community champions, growing hope and crafting a better future. That was a phenomenal conversation with Ishmael Terry. And on tonight, we're going to have a conversation to discuss what's your treasure. And I can't wait for this because that's something we don't always ask ourselves. What is your treasure? But before we get into that conversation, we're going to just take one moment and recognize our contributing core business members who have upcoming events within our community. We'll be right back.
Decompression session hosted by Sonia M. Weaver and Jason Integrity. Celebrate the wins, let go of the stress, vent, share, and encourage. Register today on Facebook or Alignable by searching for the BE Black Entrepreneurs Group. Friday, September 13th at the Emerald Theater is the first annual Reggae Rising, presented by Leaving Lifted. We are featuring so many great Detroit reggae artists, including Roots Vibrations, King Mellowman, Dan Tillery, LaKeisha Tuggle, Winfred Julian, Nikki Giovanni, Ryan Gimpert, and more. Doors open at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15. It's an all-star event of all reggae, all night.
Navigating Men Women's Workshop. Presented by Your Inspired Journey. In this empowering 1-hour session, you'll discover the secrets to attracting and keeping the love you deserve. Sunday, September 15th, beginning at 7 p.m. Cost is $27. Register today. Whether you're single, divorced, or simply ready to deepen your connections, this workshop will provide you with the tools, insights, and confidence to navigate the world of love with ease and joy.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
Okay, and we're back. And as I stated before we left, our conversation for tonight is what's your treasure? And we'll be having a conversation with the phenomenal Miss Lakina Fox. Hi, Lakina. Welcome
Hello.
to our show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Sonia.
Of course, I appreciate you for accepting our invitation and being willing to come on and have our conversation. So if you have not had the opportunity to watch any previous episodes, what I do here is I want it to be an organic conversation. So while I appreciate and respect your bio, because you are phenomenal, don't let anybody tell you anything differently. I love for our guests to self-introduce. So as I pass the baton to you, please share who you are, a little bit about you, fun facts, what you do, and then why you do what you do.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you so much, Sonia, for allowing me to be here on your platform. So I am Lakina Fox, and I am the founder of The Treasure Within, which is a nonprofit here in Detroit, Michigan. Not only am I involved in young girls' lives, uplifting them, bringing inspiration to them, and uplifting their self-esteem, I'm also a real estate agent. I'm also a business coach. I'm also a mom and a wife. Yes. So many different things. And so I just simply love what I do, helping people and just being a help to my community and those around me that I love.
Oh my God. So if you haven't been on here before, I do this occasionally. As women, we wear hats, many hats, and we do it with ease. Can you believe it? So yes, I did not get a chance to capture everything when you have your tickler going across, but We have the founder of the Treasure Within. We'll talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about you stating that, you know, you're into real estate. We got to talk about that tonight, as well as an amazing author. We're going to talk about that tonight. And then it will be kind of however the conversation flows. We'll add it in there. But I definitely want people to know about the treasure within. And that's why tonight's show was What's Your Treasure? So in your own words, please share, you know, why you got started, how you got started. Why is this important to you for starting the Treasure Within?
Yeah, so great question. So I started the Treasure Within back in actually 2011. And I was completing my master's course in social justice. And it was a part of my senior project, actually. And so we had to create something in the community. And I always wanted to do something to give back to my community, specifically with women. So I decided young girls, and I just kind of analyzed my own life and like, you know what, self-esteem is a very prevalent issue with a lot of young teens, women that we deal with. And so I kind of did not know what to name it, what the program would consist of. And so I always say, you know, God gave it to me. I went to sleep and I woke up. The name, The Treasure Within, came to me, and I began to write the 8-week program. And I've been going by that same guideline that I've written to today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I concur. The best direction comes from when God speaks. I'm telling you, Linked was God speaking as well. And you get the glimpse, and you said in that moment you wrote out the 8-week program that next day, huh?
Yep. And I implemented it, started it. And when we had our very first graduation, one of my professors came to it and he said, wow, this is so good. Like, keep going with this. I can see this in the schools. I can see this everywhere. And we had so much great success. The community at the time I had started in Pontiac, they were like, we need this. Like, oh my God, are you going to do another one? Like, we got such good results from what we had implemented in the girls. And so I stopped it for a while and I restarted it in 2019, and I turned into a nonprofit. And so I've been doing it every year since 2019.
Okay. And so we do have on deck the most recent, because you have to tell them about the things to start to finish. So we know it's an 8-week program.
Yes.
The picture that we have here is then the crowning ceremony. So walk us through then the 8 weeks up until the beautiful crowning ceremony.
Yes. So each year it evolves, and we change things. So now our graduation, we call it the crowning ceremony, as you see. So after the course is over with, we crown them as queens, and that really helps boost their self-esteem. I mean, the girls look forward to that because on that day, it's all about them. Because I understand that, you know, they may never get a sweet 16, a birthday party, a graduation party. They may never ever get that. And one thing I like to say, a lot of the things that I implement in the program is things that I wish I would have had when I was younger. Like, I would not have done some of the things that I done had I had a mentor or somebody to say, hey, don't do that. And also, you know, I didn't never have a birthday party, a graduation party, because I was a teenage mom. So my life started fast, right? So I give them this special moment, and it's truly life changing. I mean, they're crying, their parents are crying, and it's all about them. I say lights, camera, action. Like, it's your day. They get to show off their etiquette. They get to show off their beautiful gowns. They get to walk. And then we have people in the city to come out, support. We'll have celebrities in, people fly in. And this shows that you are important and you matter. That somebody took the time out to come and celebrate So it's truly, we have entertainment and food, and we make it like a royal ball. Everybody is dressed up, and it's truly a beautiful sight to see.
I can only imagine. I mean, just from seeing how elegant you were on that flyer, and I did look at some of the pictures from your social media page. So guys, take the time to go over to her social media page, and you will see some of the young women that have graduated through the Treasure Within's program, and they're all smiles. I mean, they are in their dresses and hair is done. I think I've seen a couple nails done, and they are just smiles and beautiful. I can only imagine the impact that you are having in these young women's lives.
Yes.
And if you could wrap up in a few words or sentences, what would you say then that core mission for the Treasure Inn? What is that core mission? We have great organizations that do work with our young girls. And what I always tell my clients is, do not, be alarmed or concerned with oversaturated markets, because you are a unique person and your vision of what you want to accomplish is going to be different. So for those who are watching, for parents who are watching with young girls, for young girls who might be watching, and what will pique their interest in this program, its core mission, and how it stands differently than the others.
Yes. So it's to inspire, to uplift, to motivate, for them to know that everything in their body and on their body is a jewel, simply. And what we want to do, what we aim to do, is give them all of the tools, the life skills, the knowledge, so they're able to, as they grow up to be an adult woman, they can make better adult choices, and be responsible of their choices. So we teach them etiquette, we teach them financial literacy, we teach them social, emotional awareness, we teach them body health, hygiene, life skills, professional development. We teach them a number of things so that they know, how to talk, how to walk, what to do, what not to do, how to pick the right relationship, what's a healthy and unhealthy relationship, because sometimes you don't know if you're a teenager,
Right.
So you don't know that this relationship is toxic, this friendship is toxic, this boy is, something's wrong, there's some red flags. So we educate them so that they are aware. We also want them to be great thought leaders and thinkers. So we teach them the importance of their thoughts, their words. So don't just say whatever comes out of your mind. Be conscious of what you're saying out of your mouth, knowing that what you speak out into the world, it can actually happen, because there's power in your voice, and your voice matters.
I love that. And as you were speaking, the word confidence just kind of deposited into my spirit. And I have seen, even with working with the youth, sometimes there's a lack of confidence, and they hide behind different gestures or not wanting to participate in different things. But I just feel that after going through with what you're teaching and how you genuinely care, because it's coming from a place of true caring about where these young women are going in their future, that it helps them with their confidence and their self-esteem.
It does. It truly does. I mean, we had one girl that really stands out to me. She had really bad social anxiety. And at the end of the program, and she's in my cohort now that we have, I mean, you wouldn't even be able to tell that she dealt with that. She has no problem talking now. She voices her opinion, and she says it's because of the program, because she was afraid to talk and she had that anxiety, and now she makes friends easily. She encourages the girls. And she's like 13. So it's like a beautiful thing to see that, we're able to make a change as best as we can in the girls that come into the program.
That's amazing. One other thing of congratulations that I cannot let pass on my show, at least, is to say congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
OMG. Yes, let's clap it up. It is certified STEM
Yes.
accredited program. Share
Yes.
with us what this means and just, the process that you had to take to get there.
Yeah. Thank you. So the process, it wasn't easy. We had some challenges. We had to create some things and do some things in order to get the program accredited. And so our whole main focus for our STEM program is the neurosciences of STEM. So all with the mind, because when you think about science, math, engineer, technology, it's all about critical thinking. So we focus on the thinking, the thoughts, the things that go on in your mind, the neurons, all of those things that's in our brain that's connected, and how you have to be a great focused thinker and managing your mind and your thoughts to be able to really concentrate on these in this field. So we focus on that. So
Love it. And
thank
that
you.
itself probably sets you apart as well, because what naturally comes to people is exactly what it's saying: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but we don't think about that mind and really how all of that from our mind is really where everything is coming from. So if
Yes,
this is not together, none of the other stuff is going to really be as great as it possibly can be.
absolutely. Yes.
So before we go into our next segment, I want to take a moment to take a break where we acknowledge our core businesses and their upcoming events. So we'll be right back.
Women's Empowerment Workshop, The Prolific Me uploaded. Hosted by Michelle Hood. Friday, September 27th through Sunday, September 29th. Friday 6 p.m. meet and greet. Saturday workshops begin at 9 a.m. Sunday, closing remarks. Events will be held at Hilton Garden Inn, 26,000 American Drive, Southfield, Michigan. Tickets are $85. Rediscover your natural talents and embrace who you really are.
Autism Community Day. Presented by Takers The Gaming Vault and Hezekiah Kids. Saturday, September 28th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Laurel Park Mall, 37700 6 Mile Road, Livonia, Michigan. Special guest America's Got Talent and Stellar Award winner Kid J. For more information, contact Dice Clark 313-425-6473 or Dr. V. Bailey 248-671-3177.
Cast Party hosted by Mac Justice Entertainment. October 11th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the International Institute, 111 East Kirby, Detroit, Michigan. Special guest DJ Mr. Millennium. Entry is $20. Free food, DJ, music, and stage play viewing. This is a boss-approved event.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe.
And we're back. Okay, so Lakina, it'll be up to you at this point. We've been talking about the treasures within, but you also mentioned about being a realtor. You mentioned, or I know I mentioned about you being an author, and I know there's some other hats in which you wear as well. Because of this, I just want you to make sure people understand what they should know about you, like your motivation in all that you do. And why you do the work that you do.
Yeah. So my motivation is really being a helper and a giver, and wanting to see people truly happy, healthy, and whole. So I focus a lot on the girls because I believe you start them young and you teach them those things, they'll grow up to be better adults. They can make better choices. But I also coach women as well, because I've been through a number of different things. Some people say, what have you not gone through? Do you not have a story for everything? Right. And so it's truly because I've been in a place in my own personal journey, with self-esteem, with not having, with business challenges, just being a single mom, being divorced, being abused, being so many different things, and then not having that support. So I like to support in any way that I can within my capacity. And so that's one reason why I do what I do. Many times, in business and whatever we do, sometimes you want to give up because it can be some challenges, right? But specifically talking about the Treasure Within, I do it because I see their growth. I see the change. I hear the response from the parents and from the girls, and that really motivates me. And just from their stories, and, that's what really motivates me and keep me going to do what I do, because there are disadvantages. And I feel that if I can do my part and I've overcame and I've learned some things and I got some knowledge, it's my duty almost to give it back. To the next generation, to say, hey, you don't have to go this route. Hey, I can give you a resource here or connect you to this person where life doesn't have to be as hard, to make it a little bit easier by having that mentor, by having somebody that has gone through it and that can help guide you to have a more of a not so rough journey in life.
Yes. Completely understand. And thank you for allowing some of the things that you've gone through to be the catalyst for wanting to give back to some young women, young girls, so they don't have to, necessarily go down that same path. When you know, then you can make better choices. So I appreciate you taking the time to even allow for your testimony to be impactful for their lives.
Yes. And I tell them, it doesn't matter what you've gone through. And you said a testimony, use it all for the good, for a testimony. Say, yeah, I went through that. I did that. But now I use that experience and now I'm giving back and I'm helping somebody else. Right. And so I feel like that's my mission. That's why God allowed me to go through certain things to overcome it, not for it to overcome me, but for me to overcome the situation that now I can say, yes, I was a teenage mom. Yes, at 16 years old, I was homeless with my daughter, but I did it. I went to school. I changed my life. I changed my thoughts. I changed my words. I believe in God. I believe in myself. And, and it's about believing in yourself, believing in God.
And knowing that a situation does not define you.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Yes. So here's the thing, Lakina, on the flip side, kind of little, devil's advocate, because again, I mean, you do not look like some of the things that you've gone through.
Right.
So in your thought pattern, or even in things that you've heard, what are some misconceptions people might have about you and or the work that you do?
Some misconceptions, what have she really gone through? They may know if they read my book, or they may know me or heard me minister about it or said it. But if you just look at me, you wouldn't know that I used to sell drugs. If you look at me, you wouldn't think that, I danced. If you look at me, you wouldn't think that I was once upon a time in my life just really bad, like this, just mean woman. Like, what you see is not who I was many years ago. So sometimes when people look at you, they think, oh, you've always been like this. And no, that is not the case. I've been a work in progress and still a work in progress. God is me and evolving me.
And I had that in here. Sometimes I ask it, sometimes I don't, but I definitely want people to know, because we're going to lead in, because you don't judge a book by its cover.
That's right.
And allow the fact that life lessons, even though she's educated, went back, got the degrees, life lessons can trump sometimes book smarts, right? Yeah. And so she has a testimony of overcoming. And I wanted people to really understand this, because she's taking that and that energy that she has and transferring it into these young women so that they too know that they can overcome. And now that in this segment, we're going to just show you some light. So yes, you can go out here and make sure you get these books. So they're grouped together in kind of ways. This is a series that you've been a part of with two different lead authors, correct? In these two books?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us what these two projects are, so that people can go and support.
Yeah, so these two projects was a collaboration of many different authors, and one, Gathering the Fragmented Parts, is my story, is talking about how in my life I was kind of all over the place, and how with God I was able to bring it all together and really realize my purpose in the earth and begin to really change my life. The one with Dream on the Rise is from a young girl, I would dream and I would imagine when my grandmother was from the South, and so she would be a maid and she would clean houses for rich people. And I remember I was maybe about 12 years old, and she took me to a house with her to clean. And I remember going in the kitchen and just looking like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. The pantry was packed. And I think that's why I keep a packed pantry now, because I saw that as a kid. And I'm like, I always wanted that, right? And so I remember my grandmother saying, because I was just daydreaming, and she said, if you want something like this, work hard and give back to your community and do something great. And so, and she said some other things, and I never forgot that. And so at that age, I began to research what I wanted to do. So I said I wanted to be a doctor and be in forensic medicine, because I figured that was something a lot of Black girls wasn't doing. And I kind of mapped out my life. I'll, be a doctor by the time I'm 24 or 25, right? But I always dream. So in here, it talks about the dreams and how I was a dreamer. And so when I got pregnant at 16 years old and I couldn't go to, my dream school was Princeton. My dad was doing all of the stuff for it, and I didn't get to go because I found I was pregnant at 16. So I thought my dream was over. I thought my life was over, but I began to dream again. And so my chapter in that book is Dream Again, because no matter what life brings you, no matter what you go through, you can continue to dream and you can do it. And nobody can stop you but you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, before we go into the next group of literature, and I had no idea that this would happen, but I began some after school programs this week, and it kicked off with them getting prepared for vision. So we talked about dreaming. And it's ironic that you just said that, because I asked them each to tell 2 truths that were actually happening for their life right now that are true, and then 1 dream. And then they kept saying, oh, it's like 2 truths and a lie. I said, no, it's not a lie. And I need you to change your vocabulary. I said, this is your dream. And if you dream it, then all we're doing is then laying out the work and the steps in order to make the dream a reality. I said, so yes, I want to hear your dreams today. And so I definitely glad that you mentioned that, sometimes, I wanted to be a doctor too, I am a doctor now, but I wanted to be a medical doctor. And who would have known that I would not be able to handle live trauma? There's no book any place that's going to tell me that, because everything else I was just doing without any problem, biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, even cutting the cadaver, loved it. But a cadaver doesn't have blood flowing through it, doesn't have people reacting to trauma and what's going on and yelling and screaming and sense and all of this stuff, upon which I just couldn't cope with that environment. So, but it doesn't mean that you cannot redream, right? So I love how you said that. Like, it doesn't end just because it doesn't happen. You can still have dreams.
Yeah.
Now she's a real estate person, not just but gives you like guides. So she must be a real estate guru. to have written 2 books, please share. Then, okay, you have buyer's guide to buying a home, and then a seller's guide to selling it. So why did you feel the market needed these?
Yeah, so great question. So my clients will always ask me, okay, for buyers or first-time home buyers, what do I need to do? How should I prepare? And what are the steps? So I said, I created an ebook, and so I give them that. So it outlines everything that they should know, what they should do, what they should not do. And so it's truly to educate them. Or if someone is interested in getting a home and they want to get prepared, these are the things what you should do in order to prepare yourself in buying a home. Or if you're in that process, read this book. And so I just created it as a guide so they can have that. And so for the sellers, the same thing. They would want to know, what do I need to do to prep to get the house ready? And so I'm like, look, let me create a book for that. And
now,
so
that's that caring spirit, even into the real estate field that you have, because she takes the time to make sure she said educate. So that's the one thing upon which people can find themselves not getting either the best price for their property or getting the best deal for property they want to purchase, is because they lack the knowledge and the education. Some people just don't take the time to do that. But thank you, Lakina. I really appreciate that you've taken the time to do so, because you truly care about people.
Yes.
Now, the last piece of literature is Why? A Young Girl's Search for the Truth. Now, share about what this book. I'm sure this one is a little different than the other ones, right?
It is very much so. Yeah. So Why is a novel, and it really is pretty much my life story in a novel. And so all throughout my life, I always ask God, why? From a very young age. Why did I go through this? Why did this have to happen? Why this and why that? And so as I got older, as I continue on this journey called life, God began to show me why. And so I was on this search, all of this time on why. And so when I started to write my book, I'm like, what should I name it? And so Why just came to me. I'm like, why? Because all throughout my life, I always ask the question, why?
And then, those of the faith will say, well, why not?
Right.
Why not you? Because those who believe and truly believe will say, God never puts anything on you that you can't handle. Yes. And he will take anything that you've experienced and gone through really for the greater good, for your good and the good of his people.
Yes.
So the only thing that I can say, which kind of we preluded to earlier in the show, is that some of the things that you have endured, some of the experience that you have experienced, laid the groundwork for the work in which you're doing in this moment.
Yes. So the book has really helped, I would say, a lot of young girls and a lot of women. And so connecting it to my nonprofit, a lot of the girls that say, hey, I read your book. Hey, my mom gave me your book. It has helped with what I'm doing, with the work that I'm doing, the efforts that I'm doing in the community, because it makes me a little bit more personable.
Okay. So before we go to the next segment, again, we're going to take a small break where we acknowledge our core members and some of their upcoming events. We'll be right back.
Women Ignited Annual Summit. The Perfect Plan. Saturday, October 12, 2024. Breakout sessions, financial wisdom, relationships, personal empowerment, lunch and networking. Cost $67. Early bird cost $49. Visit www.womenignitedsummit.com. Save the date. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, linked event. Saturday, October 19th, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. You are not alone, together we are stronger, together we are linked. Come out and support the fighters, celebrate the survivors, and honor those we remember. More information to come.
Save the date. Tranquility Christian Counseling presents Tranquility Peace Retreats. Breaking Down Walls, Thursday, October 24th through Sunday, October 27th in Port Sanilac, Michigan. The last retreat was powerful and impactful. You don't want to miss it. Space is limited, more information coming soon.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
And we're back. So this is a part of the segment where I do try my best to recall our initial connection with one another. Now, of course, I used to say that we were like 7 people from like being connected to that person. And then when you kind of go through or you look at photos or differently, like, okay, I know this person like right here. I know this person like right here, this person. So I think we were only like one person removed by a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that we possibly could have been in the same spaces at the same time. But I always believe God's timing is when it happens. And we happen to be acknowledged and getting awarded the same year, and we're in line actually next to one another. So this was my first time. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time that came to my mind when we actually shared close space with one another and kind of had a brief conversation with each other was at the 4th annual Being That Girl award ceremony, where we were both being awarded. Now, do I have that right?
You have that correct. Yes.
Okay. So shout out to the amazing Natasha Lee and the phenomenal work that she is doing, especially with That Girl and all the many other organizations I'm telling you that she's affiliated with. That is truly my selfie twin. We joke with each other because it was the same thing. We were at everything together, always taking pictures with each other, and they would always come out just great. So I was like, you make me take good pictures. But it was a pleasure to have that opportunity to be with you. But we really didn't get the opportunity to, really connect until over this summer, yes, which I truly appreciate. And again, it was thanks to Miss Natasha Lee, yes, and the opportunity to work at a phenomenal camp through BUF, Black United Fund, which, yes, we're now both on the Buff Connect team.
Yes.
So I have truly come to a point to recognize the importance of when God puts you in space with his children. And I call his children those who are doing the work in love, because that's what we're commanded to do, is to love one another. So our work and our efforts are our actions and how we show our love in order to help those that are in need. And I just was one, which is why I asked the question. I was one who can admit I would have never known some of the things that you've gone through. Now, I always know we all have a story and we go through. I'm not that naive. Mm-hmm. But when I hear of some of the things that you have endured, and I'm just like, and how it didn't break you, it was so inspiring to me. I became aware when you were on another show, and shout out to Dr. Michelle Lano, who has been a reoccurring guest here. And I was just sitting there like, because each segment, it was something new. I was like, oh my goodness. It is like, but if you look at her now, that smile that radiates, the work in which you do just radiates. And I'm just going to give you your flowers right now and say thank you. Thank you for staying strong. Thank you for your strength in the Lord. And thank you for believing in yourself and being just that example, not only to your family, to your children, but to all of these other families and these beautiful young women whose lives you make an impact for.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And, I love what I do. And it's really an honor to be able to do what I do. And it's really I say, oh God, because without him, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to stand. I wouldn't be here today, So thank you for, saying thank you. I truly appreciate that.
Awesome. Of course. I believe in giving flowers when they're due.
Yes, thank you.
Now, I do always like to know current events. As you can see, we promote current events and upcoming events. But I'm going to acknowledge some of your past events so that maybe you can start getting us ready for some tea to be spilled or what you got working or coming up.
Okay.
So I was like, wow, share about this. Were you actually in a stage production? Is that what this was?
Yes, absolutely. I was in the play. Yes, me and some of the girls, and we had some of our boys there. We were in the play. Yes, and this was shout out to again Natasha Lee for making that connection, for having our nonprofit picked for that scene. They wanted to do something empowering and have children in it, and we were fortunate to do that. So yeah,
that's awesome because we didn't mention actress. So we got to add that next time as one of the hats then, because you're an actress. But we did mention realtors. So you have the book to educate people, but then you also have done real estate workshops.
yes.
So is this something that you routinely do? This workshop looks like it occurred in June.
Mhm.
Anything else on the docket, or do you do other educational like webinars or information?
Yeah, so I don't have anything else with real estate workshops, but I do like coach clients individually, and I do have it's called Business Women Who Pray, and we in that group, the co-founder Chantel Jackson, and we coach women that's in business, and so by teaching the Word of God, and I also have separate clients as well. They have a business to help them create residual income with that business and do life coaching and things like that. So, yeah.
Awesome. And shout out to Chantel Jackson. I remember when we first met, her personality is infectious. So I really, really enjoyed that sisterhood.
Yes. Yes.
Now, with knowing the work that I do, Get to Know Bob is an expansion of Deals with Bob, and Bob is an acronym affectionately for Black-owned businesses. In your opinion, Lakina, tell me, why do you think it's important for our community to have Black businesses and that we support them so that they thrive?
Yeah, it's so important to have Black businesses because it's important for us to see our own representation of us in the community doing business. It's very important for us to support one another. Many other cultures and races, they have support. And so we need to also support our Black-owned businesses. So we know someone that's in business, hey, we need to patronize them. What is it that you do? We can refer, we can buy something. So I think it's very important, especially for the younger generation, because a lot of them, quite honestly, right now, want to be in business and be entrepreneurs. So it's a great thing for them to see that in their own community and see successful Black-owned businesses and them doing things the right way, making sure that we have our things in order and in alignment with the rules and regulations when it comes to business as well is very important.
Yes, I concur, obviously, for all those reasons. And what I will say is that for them to even see collaboration on this conversation tonight, we talked about connections and collaborations and how important it is to see us working in unity. The biggest thing of the enemy is to separate us and think that we have to do everything on our own, or we should do everything on our own, to cause discourse and a lack of trust. But when we collectively work together and realize that there's truly abundance, I have no problem with connecting you to this organization, this person, working collaboratively. We just can get so much done when we actually look at how we can, work with one another. We all have gifts and talents. And the scripture says, when you walk in your gift and in your purpose, if you are the hand, don't try to be the knee. We have someone that's designed to be the knee. And so I really, really love and appreciate the fact that you reminded us of that it is so important for them to see that representation, not only of thriving businesses, but how we interact with one another as business owners and leaders within our community.
Yes, that's so important. Absolutely.
So before we wrap up, can you believe it? We're only about 8 minutes out. So before we wrap up, we have one more segment to give honor to our core businesses and their upcoming events. And then we'll be back. I'll have the final questions for you to ponder over. One, what book is currently on your nightstand or that you have recently read or highly recommend reading? Two, I want you to make sure people know how they can connect with you. And then three, I want to know what keeps you encouraged. So we'll be right back.
Save the date. Sneaker Ball, celebrating 19 years of service. UNITY's anniversary event will take place September 7th, 2024. This event will bring together supporters, volunteers, and youth who have been a part of the organization to celebrate the yearly service that has been provided for children and communities year after year. Looking for sponsor and donations, visit contact us at unitydetroit.org. Save the date. Western Wayne County NAACP 2024 Freedom Fund Dinner. October 20th, 2024. Our purpose, our power, our people. Save the date. BUF of Michigan 54th Gala Celebration. Friday, October 25th, beginning at 6 p.m. at the Motor City Sound Board, 2901 Grand River Avenue, Detroit, Michigan.
Let us support you in your event by adding it to our Stay Connected segments and encouraging community support. Visit www.dealswithbob.com or call us today.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
So we're back. Now, what book is currently on your nightstand or that you recently read or highly recommend reading?
Yes, so I love books. Like I go to the bookstore, I order books like it's a new pair of shoes. My husband will say, "You got another stack of books here?" I love to read. A book that I'm reading current right now is Open Your Mind to Receive by Catherine Ponder. Ponder. And so that's a book that I'm reading right now. That's on my nightstand upstairs.
Got you. Okay, I got that down.
Okay.
So how can people connect with you?
Yeah, so on all social media, it's my name, Lakina Folks. They can go to The Treasure Within for the foundation, www.thetreasurewithinyou.org, my website, lakinafolks.com.
Awesome. And what keeps you encouraged?
What keeps me encouraged is my faith in God, knowing that He is with me and I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, which is my favorite scripture.
Mine too.
Oh, okay. We got something in common. Yeah. And long as I have Him on my side, I can do anything, and I'm on the right side, so every battle I'm gonna win because I got Him on my side, right, fighting for me. Any door that I need open is gonna open. Why? Because I got God on my side. So that's what motivates me and encourages me is my faith.
I love it. Now, Lakina has received some accolades. Now, there have been quite a few, but most recently, we're going to highlight a couple. So share with us about this particular one that happened over the summer. the Millionaire Mindset Movement Gala, where you were recognized.
Yeah, so it was an award in honor being in business, hitting 7 figures, and that's in my real estate career. So yeah.
Wow. Many people,
Yeah.
and look how effortless she said, and hitting 7 figures. I mean, you here within our community, 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures. Not many actually say 7 figures, but I dare to say you can say 7 figures when you have, like Lakina said, if you believe that God will open those doors to it, go ahead and say it. She's a walking testimony of the possibilities of it happening. Thank you for even mentioning that. I didn't realize that might be part of the conversation. And then this prestigious award.
Yes. The Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. So that is for recognition for the efforts that I'm doing in the community with my nonprofit, the Treasure Within. And so that's the highest honor that any philanthropist wants. And it's a great honor to just have been noticed for the things that I was doing and to get the award. So that is a great honor for the Treasure Within.
I love it. So Lakina, if you had to share any final lasting words to the people who are watching, what would they be?
So it will be believe in God and believe in yourself, because truly everything you need is inside of you. No matter what you go through, no matter what you've gone through, is really what you say about yourself and what you think about yourself. That's what's going to matter. And so keep your faith up and just keep believing, and don't let anyone steal your dreams. And if you stop dreaming, if it's things that you stop doing or thought you couldn't do it because of whatever, dream again, because with all things it's possible. You can do it.
I love that. To continue on to dream. Do not stop dreaming. To make sure that you said you believe in yourself. That's that treasure within. That's the gifts that you have that no one can take away from you. Even though the world might beat you up. I heard today in scripture, and I never thought about it before, or never had it taught this way before. There's a lot of things we know in which Israel couldn't consume if it was considered unclean. If something even dead fell onto something, you had to wash it or you had to throw it away. And it was the exception of if it fell on seed. And I never paid any attention when I, read the Bible and have read this before. And he acknowledged, the analogy that was given was that the power of the seed, and the seed is what you have within you. Mm-hmm. So if something dirty or bad or wrong comes your way and it lands on you, it can't harm the seed. It can't then make the seed unclean. The seed is what gets planted into fruitful soil to bear fruit, to grow. So that's what you have within you. That's your treasure. Your treasure is your seed that's inside of you, that nothing in this world or no one in this world can hinder from growing, from being planted. Only you can. So you have to be the one to take your treasure and to plant it and to nourish it and to believe that it's going to happen and just watch it take off and grow. Remember, though, there's a process. You have to plant it and then you have to wait. And it's in the waiting where we don't always have the patience. So my last words to those watching about the treasure, or what's your treasure, because we all have one, is to be strong enough and to be bold enough to plant the seed, to believe in yourself enough to do so. But then as you're nourishing it, patience through the process. Oh, Lord, and maintaining that faith through the process. Because I'm going to tell you, once you decide that you're going to unlock your treasure within, it is game on. Life is going to life like you've never seen it before. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But like our favorite scripture, you can do all things through
All
Christ.
things.
All
Christ.
things through Christ. So, Lakina, I want to thank you so much for being a guest tonight. It has been a phenomenal time with you. I truly appreciate everything that you shared on tonight. I thank you so much for your time.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me, Dr. Sonia. It's been a pleasure. The conversation has been great, and thank you again for having me on your platform.
My pleasure. And I want to thank all of you guys for watching. Those who popped in and out during this live, I thank you. And for those who are watching this on the replay, only thing I would ask is that you would share this so that it can touch other people and inspire them to do just what they need to do to unlock their own treasure within. Then I also want you, if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Obviously, the more subscriptions we get, the further reach we'll have, and then the larger impact we can make. All you need to do is, while you're on YouTube, do a search for Deals with Bob and click the subscribe button. We would love for you to join our community. We're going to have next week a recap show, and then we'll be announcing who's to come in the next upcoming weeks. So again, I thank you for tuning in tonight. I am your host, Dr. Sonia Weaver, and I encourage you to spend with purpose because your dollars do matter, and deal with Bob. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.